Welcome back.
Hey.
We are your hosts, Derry Cox.
Rudolph Thurman.
Thank you for joining us for yet another episode of Two Cheers, One Chat. As per normal, we always like to give God praise and thanks for giving us the opportunity to do this yet again.
Yes.
We really are truly happy to be doing this podcast.
Yes, we are.
We love to talk about different things that are important, different topics that come up, and most of all, as conversation starters for people who normally don't have conversations like this.
Right.
And so we choose the topics that we think that are important to talk about, and like I said, that would open dialogue. You know, whether it be in your relationships, in your family, your friends, wherever, however, you know, we tried best to be able to do so. I mean, there's a lot of other podcasts out there,
Right.
but it's not like us, right? Because we are who we are anyway, and
No.
and we believe this is part of our purpose, that we are truly being transparent,
Yeah.
and bringing different topics to you guys. So we do appreciate your feedback whenever and wherever you can, especially on our YouTube channel, that we will share all that information to you at the ending of the episode. We try to remind you, but we'll remind you now too. You can find us on YouTube at Two Cheers, One Chat, or also on Instagram at Two Cheers, One Chat, and our personal handles. I am Derry Cox, Derry's Poetry Lounge, and also my business page where you think I'm rocking the shirt. We are rocking the shirt today.
We representing.
It's Proof Skincare. You can check me out on IG.
Yes.
I did also start a YouTube channel, but it's not really, I haven't really been promoting that as yet. But
I understand.
let me just straight up. Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, real. Go ahead.
It's all right. It's all right. You can also find me on IG at Poetry is Visual. That is Poetry IZ Visual. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two Cheers, One Chat.
And Two Cheers, One Chat. That's right.
We have a lot of things coming up. Just pay attention to this guy. Look out for this guy right here. This amazing actor. And I think that he forgets sometimes what he is, and he doesn't like to promote that too much. But his friend over here is going to always tell you what an amazing actor I think he is. And I can't wait to see him on the big screen. That's one of my prayers for him. That I know that through conversations, he's really opened up about his passion for acting and bringing awareness of different topics where he could play those roles. And I can't wait for to see him and to see him on the big screen one day, and hopefully that'll be soon.
Amen.
I always try to encourage him to not lose heart on that, and not to lose focus on it. I know we've had that discussion in private, but I'm making it public.
Okay.
Because some things needs to be put outside in the air, in the broader atmosphere, and not just between two people.
Okay.
So that those of you who have watched him on that screen already with his reels know what an amazing actor he is, and with constant what is that word I'm looking for? Consistency.
Yes, yes.
Gets you there.
Yes, I know I gotta jump on it.
So don't lose heart in that, and don't forget about it. That's one of your gifts, as well as I've seen your poetry, your writing, and you know we're getting a little bit to share about our books that we have.
Yeah.
But I also see you there as well, so don't lose heart, and don't when you recognize what God has given you, the gifts that He's given you, you don't let it go. You know, you keep at it, because there's a reason why He gave you that gift.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't put it down to sleep. You know, you can't lay it down to rest.
Mm.
You can't start and not continue it, especially when He showed it to you.
Right.
You know, you have to keep at it. And it's the same thing for people that write. Some days you don't feel like writing. I know I'm going way off script, but sometimes when the Spirit leads, I'm going to open my mouth. Sometimes you don't feel like writing.
Yeah.
Or pick up that pen, even if it's to write about what you see in the room that you're in. And that's amazing. The scripture always come to mind that your gift will make room for you. Sometimes we sit and wonder where the next dollar is coming from. But we know we have the power in our hands. So God has provided that gift for us.
Come on now.
Like, even though we're going to a 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or 10 to 6 or whatever time, or we're going to work for someone else, He is providing us with a gift, an ability to make an income for ourselves. Don't lose sight of that. So that's my encouragement for you guys out there today.
That felt great. I was like, she taking me to church. I was like, all right now. That felt great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know how it is. When those moments come where I need to just continue to flow, because I pray a lot and ask God to use me in so many different ways. And when sometimes I'm not even conscious about what I'm doing and I just flow like that. So when I have that, I will talk. Yeah. But today, without further ado, let me get right into the topic. We're talking about anger.
Anger, yes.
There's a lot of angry people out there.
They mad.
They too mad. And I'm a little bit too loud. But
you're all right. You're all right.
I know. I find that I'm getting a lot of hers these days, like right now. When I'm
same.
I think I don't know what it is, but that's been happening. And today we're going to talk about anger and what anger is, the experience of anger, which personality traits are linked to anger. We're going to talk about why does anger sometimes feel good? Why do people hold grudges? And I think we touched a little bit on that in our previous episode of forgiveness. Yeah. And we're going to talk about how to manage anger. And we're going to talk about how we can manage anger that's warranted and how we can handle angry people. Okay. So anger is one of the basic human emotions, as elemental as happiness, as sadness, as anxiety, or disgust. These emotions are tied to basic survival and were honed over the course of human history. As we would say, anger is related to the fight, or freeze, right? It prepares a human to fight. But fighting doesn't necessarily mean throwing punches.
Right.
It might motivate, people in our communities to combat injustices by changing laws or enforcing new norms. When you feel this anger about a police situation, killing a young black man, and we try to channel that anger. We go out and we protest, and some people may take it too far and they start to break things, you know. So we have to control that. Of course, anger too easily or frequently mobilized can undermine relationships or damage physical health in the long term, right? Prolonged release of the stress hormones, and I'm going all the way over here, that accompany anger can destroy neurons in areas of the brain, right? So we have to make sure that we know that all these things can happen when we're angry. We have to calm down. Calm down. Okay, we also know that powerful emotions can lead to growth and change, right? But let's talk about the experience of anger, right? Everyone knows the feeling, right? I'm sure you've gotten angry a few too many times.
Yeah.
And, I would say, and I want to hear a little bit about that and your experience on that. For me, I don't know. I would get angry, but it's always I don't allow it to consume me. I think if somebody's saying something to me that I don't like, that's where my anger comes up. And I think it happens to everybody, right? Because you're saying something that's wrong. Or if somebody's trying to provoke me and they're repeating the same thing, my easy response is just to curse them and keep moving. But, I try to calm myself down. And let's be honest. I always love to be transparent.
Yes, you are.
Regardless of what.
You are.
It's I was all right, whatever. And just, keep it moving because I cannot. Right? But I always I've grown. And that's the thing, as I'm looking back, I've grown at how I handle things. I would allow it to consume me, to get angry to a point where I'm being disrespectful to someone, even though they're making me angry. Because I know me getting angry, I don't care what I say. And me being angry and not caring what I say, it could affect the future relationship with that person.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
You know, it's like in an argument. You have an argument, you just say stuff, you make stuff up, especially with people that you really don't care about.
Right.
And you just say all kinds of stuff with their mother and their father.
Right,
or whatever comes to mind. You just say all kinds of stuff because you know you're going to hurt them.
Right.
So now with me, it's like, I'm not even putting myself there.
Right.
And that comes with a lot with maturity. And we have to be able to control our anger. So let's hear about.
Yeah, so like with anger, you know, it's someone could do something to you, and now you're having a reaction based off of something that they might have said. So now if you're having an argument, you're gonna use your words because you feel like I'm gonna verbally try to destroy them because you're angry. So I think a lot of people, when they look at things like, if I'm angry, I'm gonna take things, you know, to the extreme. So you may hear certain terms, or some people may say like, hey, I blacked out. You know, and we know that's a term that we've always, you know, heard before. Or I did this because the person really, really got me, you know, upset. And I feel like we've all gotten upset before. We've all gotten angry, you know, before. You know, I look at it like for myself, times that I've gotten, you know, angry, you know, at people, and I had my, you know, reactions. I look at how I handled it then and how I will handle it now, right? Because of me growing, understanding, you know, certain situations on how it wouldn't really benefit me if I took everything to the extreme, right? To the extreme can cost you your freedom. And whatever it is that you're arguing about with someone, it should never be more than what your freedom is, you know, like to you. You lose stuff when you lose control. You say things that you may not be able to take back. Even if you say sorry, it's just like a gun. You pull the trigger, that bullet comes out, right?
Speaking of triggers.
Yeah.
Triggers.
That's a trigger, right? Nice play of words. Right? So, you know, people trigger you, right? And, you know, stuff come out. But we have to get to a place where we figure out how we can calm down. Because when you don't calm down, it's just chaos. Mm-hmm. It's just chaos. It's just destruction. And it's not going to really lead you anywhere positive. And as we grow, we should be pushing to go in the direction of a place that's positive, a place of peace, like how we spoke about before, right? Because it all ties in, you know. But
it's all about controlling our emotions. Because anger is part of our emotion. We get emotional, we get angry, and we want to fight. We want to do this, we want to do that. We have to understand also that we have to recognize our trigger points. We're triggered easily by certain things, so we have to try to do our best to get control of that.
Yeah, we definitely definitely have to find ourselves to, get control of it. Some people, their extent with anger stops at words. To other people, anger goes past words, right? So some people may curse you out to the highest degree. Like I said before, I'm gonna verbally destroy you. Or some people, they let it get physical. And I think I know both ways are bad, but once it gets to a point where your words go past words and is physical, you are at a very, very bad place. That means that anytime somebody says something to you that you don't like, you feel like it must now go to your hands. It has to go physical. I can't let somebody talk to me like that. That's a big issue, right? Because you have to figure out, how are we there? How do we fix that? We're not going in any place, good by those movements, right? So if every time somebody says something to you, you have to put your hands on them, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to get the help.
Yeah.
You have to get the help. And if you don't, a lot of bad things can happen to you.
You have to learn to control that anger. Really have to learn to control that anger. It doesn't matter what someone is saying to you, or, it may hurt your feelings. Learn to control your anger.
Yeah.
And it's very important that you do that. And it's like sometimes you question what kind of people would have that anger outburst. Like, it speaks a lot about that person as well.
Mm-hmm.
Your personality.
Right.
Who is that person?
Right.
Some people will look at, if someone is shouting and yelling at someone and being disrespectful, and someone just sits there and look at them like they're crazy, then they'll be like, oh, you're this or that, you can't speak up for yourself. But that takes a lot of control.
Yeah.
To just, nobody wants to be disrespected.
Not at all.
But you're also understanding who you're dealing with, right? It's kind of like if someone is yelling at me and they're saying all these mean things to me, sometimes the truth comes out of how they actually feel about you.
Right.
Don't let them push you to that area where you're actually believing what they're saying to you. Or, for you to combat that with more anger and more shouting at them, and it's going back and forth, and it becomes ugly.
Yeah.
It becomes like a big stain on that sheet. I'm talking about sheets a lot. But like that big stain that it takes a hard time to erase.
Right.
To wash out.
Right.
And that goes on for a lot of things, especially in relationships. You just have to have, I think it's kind of like that respect. And that all ties into being able to communicate with your partner, communicate with your friend. Sometimes friends would have arguments as well. And then I'm not having no argument with no friend.
Right.
I don't do arguments with friends. I don't do arguments in my relationships either. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I think at this point in my age, maybe before when I didn't know who I was, that would have been a different. But now it's like, no, we're going to have open dialogue. We're going to have open communication. You feel this way. I feel this way. What are we going to do?
And I feel feel that's the problem. Like, we're quick to lash out, but why don't we use the same energy to figure out what the real problem is, right? So I feel like you're seeing more lashing out, you're seeing more angry people because we're having less communicators, right? So if there's something that you have, if that's your friend, if that's somebody that you care about, if that's somebody that you love, why is it so hard for you to either pick up the phone or see that person and try to have a conversation with them? right? So it's either you want to rectify the situation or you don't, right? But you know what you don't do? If it's in your mind that you want to fix the situation, whatever it could be, you don't keep adding fuel to the fire.
Are you having arguments with your other friends?
Do I have arguments like right now, like with them? Nah, I'll let people argue with themselves.
Okay, just try to figure it out.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
have I been there? Yes. Is it annoying? Yes. Because it's like, but now I stay clear.
Okay, because you don't. I think to me that's just a toxic friendship.
Yeah.
Like to have to argue with friends. Like, who am I? What am I arguing? Especially when it's stuff. Everybody has their own belief. Everybody believes in what they believe in.
Right.
But I also know that I have to respect what you believe in, what my friends believe in.
Right.
I like to talk a lot about how God changes lives, right? And if I'm your friend, I'm going to run my mouth about that. I'm always talking to you about God. And in every area, every conversation that I have, He's always going to be a part of that. Because I am being guided. And so when I'm being guided, I'm like, all right, Father, tell me what I need to tell my friend here. Because I love when God used me to help others, to bring, things to the forefront of their mind or to help them pause and think about things. And so if I'm talking to my friend, we're not going to be arguing about it. There's nothing for me and you to argue about. I think argument belongs. When I don't think that argument actually belongs in relationships, in personal relationships, because I don't do that. We're going to have communication, especially if you're not my spouse.
Right.
Why are we arguing?
Arguing?
Are you mad? Like, are we, no, nobody's doing that. I'm not even having an argument with a girlfriend or anything like that. Like, that's not something that's a part of my life. I don't encourage certain things, right? I know people get angry in relationships because their spouse may have hurt their feelings, and you can see the bitterness, the way how they react to things. Right, and they carry on and they carry on and they carry on and they this and they that and it kind of like eats at them. But when you see that in other people, it makes you, for me, I pause and I pray for them that they may come to peace. Because everybody reacts different to different situations, right?
Yeah, right.
You don't let people get you to the level where you're angry, where you get ugly. Because anger is ugliness, right? And so you don't allow that to happen to you.
Right. Like when you're going to give somebody the power to change your character, your personality. Like we are all made uniquely, right? So if you are who you are, you're going to let somebody get to you to that extent where it shifts your entire character.
But put a pin in that real quick.
Yeah.
Maybe that's who they are, though.
Maybe that's who they really are.
Because most of the times when people are angry, their true selves comes out. You actually see who they are.
You're right.
Like you would hear all the things that they had bottled up inside to tell you that they now have an opportunity to lay it on you.
And you're just looking at them like, come on, let it out. How long you been holding this?
Yeah. But also don't poke the bear, okay?
Don't poke the bear?
Don't poke the bear and try to rile people out to get to continue. It's not good. I don't know if you do that, but I'm just saying. Don't poke the bear.
That's what I'm guilty. I mean, like, if it, like, sometimes, like, it's like,
stop it.
All right.
Like, stop.
Nah, I think what it is like, I mean, if you, I think with me is that I'm just like so like straightforward like with people, and it shouldn't take an argument. It shouldn't take a fight for your true feelings to come out. So it's like now I have to question the level of our friendship. Like, so were we playing the pretend game the entire time, and soon as there's a disagreement, now all of a sudden you're vocal. You want to say like how you really feel. No, if we're solid It shouldn't have to get to that extent.
But
I should be able to have a conversation with you, and if there's something that you like or dislike, whatever, you should be able to say that to me without having that fear. Because if you have a fear of like the friendship ending, and now you're walking on tippy toes, don't walk on tippy toes with me.
you've had some experiences on time.
I definitely have, though.
I don't know. I'm just just saying.
I definitely
But
strange
but
out
I
here.
know that you're strange out here. Stranger things.
Yeah.
It's like when like you said, you're very. What is it? Vocal, or what's that word you use? You're transparent. You're
I would
but it's
say.
how you're saying. Maybe it's how you're saying it.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to think about how you're saying it to them for them to for their trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they're triggered by what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Not maybe what you're saying, but how you're saying it.
Okay.
And so they react to that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's okay to be open and honest with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay for me to say, Rue, what you said there, like, I don't really like that. And I'll tell you why I don't like it.
Yeah.
Right?
And I like that. when people can come to me and say that, because I am open to advice. I'm open to criticism. What I'm not open to is disrespect.
Right. There's a line there where you don't get disrespectful. Right. But you see how you say that some people, because you're very vocal or you're very outspoken, but you're outspoken, it's fine for you to be outspoken, but maybe the way you're saying it to them, they feel disrespected. Yeah. And so they come back to you and they're like, remember now, people have different trigger points. Right? So you maybe have triggered something that they, just clicked on them and they're like, what? You? No. And then they flip out. And you get the brunt of the thing that was probably for somebody else.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot to learn from this, and there's a lot to learn from our experiences, and hopefully half of your friends are listening, to this, and they could kind of like get an understanding of the kind of person you are, because sometimes people can know you for many years, but they really don't know you.
They don't. So, they don't know the today.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like to be held to a place of yesterday only.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that you can say that you understand growth, right? Like, why would anybody, if you are a certain age, right, why should you be exactly the same person that you were 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago? Like, walk this walk with me, for real.
I mean, they're not supposed to, though.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about, like, where you're supposed to get off of the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah.
And
that's your stop.
So that's your stop. And, as much as we can try to tell people, I do have my own walk, sometimes it's hard for them to understand that.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to just keep reminding them. Not in a harsh way, but just so they can understand that no disrespect, no harm, no foul. Yeah. It's just that's where it is. And sometimes people don't understand it leads to anger.
Yeah.
They get angry at every little thing. If they see your face, they get angry.
Right. You like for like nothing. Like you could be just doing something that you love. Yeah. And they're not able to do it like at that moment, and that brings anger out. Yeah. Like, But these are the signs and the things that you can see right there that, okay, that's somebody that's truly not, happy for you. And I feel like God, He sets up scenarios for you to see, right? He sets up situations for you to see so you will know who people are, where they stand. Because there's no way that I feel like He's going to leave you in a state of confusion, right?
He's not confusing God.
Not at all. I get clarity from Him. So when I get clarity, I also get understanding, right? So once I get understanding, certain actions no longer become confusing to me. It's like, I get it now. It's like, that's who you are. You know, some people, like, they're stuck, like, for years, like, oh, I can't put my finger on it. Why is this happening? Why is this person this and that? But when God makes it clear to you, then you get understanding. And there's nothing better than understanding.
Of course, and especially when you start to pray for strength.
Yes.
And then he starts to say, oh, I know where you need to be more stronger. You need to be more stronger with your friends. And realize that it's okay to let go. And sometimes people just want to hold on relationships forever, and it's really not. It harms you more than it makes you. Gives you the peace that you deserve or where you need to be on your next level.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes even things that are good for you, you do have to let go of it. You know, that's a whole other conversation. Let's see here. So are there different types of anger? I'm just going to read a little bit of my notes here. Anger is a core emotion, but it may manifest differently based on its sources. Justifiable anger is moral outrage at the injustices of the world, like I touched on that, such as the oppression of human rights or an abusive relationship. Justifiable anger may have benefits in short term, but its intensity can be channeled into action for change. Annoyance anger can arise from the many frustrations of daily life. Aggressive anger is used in situations where one individual attempts to exercise dominance, intimidation, manipulation, or control over another. Temper tantrums are disproportional outbursts of anger when an individual's wants and needs are not fulfilled, no matter how unreasonable and inappropriate. So we see the different types of anger.
Right.
But why does anger sometimes feel good? It doesn't to me, but maybe you can answer that. I don't know, because if you could know.
No, I don't.
In contrast to anger arising from interpersonal conflict, a transgression or betrayal, moral outrage focuses less on outing someone else's problematic behavior than inflating one's own sense of self. This type of outrage, called virtue signaling or moral grandstanding, may underscore one's virtuous attributes by pointing out non-virtuous attributes in others, especially putting others down, unconsciously raise oneself up. For an evolutionary perspective, humans aim to obtain and maintain strong social standing within small-scale communities. Expressing outrage about the behavior of others may partly function to elevate the status of the person expressing the outrage, which may explain why outrage often feels so good, but not to me. I don't really like to get to that level where I'm upset. Like, anybody that's coming into my space, they'll make me get upset. Like, you gotta go sit somewhere else.
Yeah, go all the way over there.
All the way in the corner over there. Because, like, the minute I realize that, you really can't, I don't focus on peace.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big thing for me. So we're not elevating to no anger. If I feel that that's what's coming on, the maturity I have now is to, like, check myself. You know, okay, am I getting angry about this? Yeah, maybe you are. So maybe you can try to switch the topic. You know, like I talk to myself. Like, okay, let's try to switch the topic. And if the person continue to, I'm like, all right, okay. Right. Here's what you're doing. You're disturbing my peace.
Yeah, but I like that. I like that technique though. Yeah. Learning to switch the topic. See, but that comes with paying attention to the conversation, right? There's sensors that goes off or should go off when you're conversing with people that, like, okay, I feel like this conversation might be going a little left, and I feel the heat, turning up, right? So it's like, let me switch the topic. And you're doing that because you don't want to take it there, right? You don't want it to get to a place where you end up arguing with someone that you was just having a regular conversation with, right? Because now you're going to be stuck like, we was just talking and it just It just went somewhere, else. So I love that you would find that opening to switch like the topic, right? And I don't feel like people can look at that as avoidance. It's not avoidance. I feel that avoidance is if someone's trying to talk to you specifically about something, and then it's like you're dodging them and you're trying to cut around it. Yeah. But if I am sensing uncomfortableness, anger coming on, you can switch the topic. Yeah. Because you don't want that.
Yeah. I love my circle, by the way. Because it's communication, it's open communication. It's let's talk about this. What do you think about this? Are we in agreement? Nobody's getting angry today. Because we don't do angry. We're not perfect, but we're not doing the arguing, we're not doing this and stuff like that. Like I always say, I love to talk about God, but I'm not going to argue about him.
Yeah.
We're not doing that either. We're not going to have that conversation. Right. Like all I can do is try to live the way to show you that he is in my life. Yeah. So there will be no reason for me to be arguing with you or whatever. And I'm a person, I separate myself if I see that there's something there that's not right. Like, it's one of the things I pray a lot about, that God shows me the people that are around me, show me even the people that I communicate with on Instagram or on the social networks. It's like, okay, I've been communicating with this person, show me who they are. Mm-hmm. And I've seen people just reveal themselves, constantly. It's like, all right, bye. It's not in a way, and I don't feel like I need to tell them bye. They'll just see that I said bye, like by how I react and how I move away.
Or they just fade.
Yeah, and it's just like these things. It's like sometimes and energy is real. Yeah. God's creator of everything, and so those energy that you see, that you can simply see something, see someone or whatever it is, and you get that. Like, okay, this is not really how it's supposed to go. Sometimes you also need to step back and come back again. Step out, step away and come back. And then your vision becomes clearer, because sometimes you keep staring at the same thing over and over. You can get your vision get clouded.
Yeah, blurry and everything.
You get blurred from actually who you're supposed to be seeing, and who these people really are. I mean, you never know who people are, but like I always say, with God as the head and a guider, a protector, he guides you.
Yeah.
One time, let me talk about that guiding thing real quick there.
Yeah, of course.
Because one time I put God guides me in a comment, and I maybe I've mentioned this before, but it always comes up to my head. Yeah. When people say, "No, God gave us free will," and then my reaction to that, my response was that, I paused actually. I was like, all right, here we go. He does give us free will, but what I ask for him to do with the will that he gave me is for his will to be done in my life. So now I know that I'm guided by him. Yeah. So, people always say, he gives us free will, so he can't guide you. Excuse me, so who's guiding me?
So who's guiding
me? Like, I'm going to ask you to guide me? I'm not going to ask you to guide me. Because clearly you walk straight into a wall, but all right, that's okay.
But it's insane for somebody to, challenge that anyway and say, to say that that he's not guiding.
Because they don't.
Who told you that?
Certain people don't believe that he is, like she did. This one specific, she said, he gives us free will, but we pray for things. We pray for guidance. We pray for protection. We pray for all these things that we want. Protect our kids, protect us. He does give us free will. We pray for these things. Yeah. So we're inviting him into our space, and we're inviting him into the same way when we're getting to that level of somebody making us angry. Right. We step back and say, no, I'm not going there today.
Not today.
You're not going to spoil my day or my month by making me angry. And then I've got to go to bed angry, and I'm not going to go to bed angry. Right. So guess what's going to happen? Yeah. We talk about this now, or I walk away from you and I'm done with you.
Right, yeah.
Because we can't allow people to get there. It's just not healthy for us.
Yeah,
about.
Take control of what you're going to entertain. You know, I feel like, you know, when you entertain everything, right, you got to know what comes with it, right? So it's what you're going to absorb, you know? So it's like, I think about it a lot, especially where I'm at in my life now. I think about what I'm going to entertain, what I'm going to absorb, and that makes the determination of what's going to affect me, how I'm going to feel about certain things that are said and certain things that are done. Right? You gotta ask ourselves, how do you want to feel? If you want to feel angry, then that means you're going to entertain anything that falls underneath the umbrella of angriness. But if you know that you don't want no parts of that, make sure that you are nowhere a part of anything that has to do with any kind of anger, disruption of your mind, your spirit, or anything like that. If you truly want peace, you will show it with the actions that you take.
Yeah. And don't do anything that make other people angry too. So because it goes both ways, right?
Yeah.
Like little things for me, like put the damn toilet seat down, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Like pick your socks up. Well, I got you. But those little things were like those little things. But it goes both ways. Don't do anything that will make other people angry.
Especially if you know, right?
Especially if you know. Yeah. You know I don't like that, but you're still doing it. Are you trying to aggravate me today? Guess what? I'm not doing it. But moving on to like, why do people hold grudges? The common advice to forgive and forget can be well intentional. I think we touched a little bit on that in forgiveness, right? Or did we?
Intentionally.
The grudge part.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, so like I said, forgive and forget can be well intention, but difficult to internalize. Mm-hmm. Many people hold deep grudges even if they don't want to, right? This may occur because grudges come with an identity. With a grudge intact, people know they were wronged. There exists a kind of rightness and strength in their identity. Still, grudges don't tend to make people feel better or heal their sadness or anger. Yeah, pretty much. Shifting focus away from the offender and to the event, its consequences allow people to integrate the experience into their narrative and release their grudge. Some people do hold things on for years because sometimes they're not actually happy with themselves. So some people want to be like, I'm not happy. I'm going to think about the time that you hurt me, and I'm going to feel sorry, right? I'm going to get all emotional. I'm going to get all, teary and cryy and all kinds of things, like that. Yeah. They're holding on to that thing because they have other things that are going on inside of them. Yeah. And you're like right there. Yeah. And so you're going to feel that. Yeah. Constantly.
And it's not fair, right? Because if you're sitting there like unsettled, why don't you do something about it, right? When I say do something about it, at what point do you come to in your life where you're like, I'm tired of feeling this way? You have to do something about it, or that's just going to be your life. So I don't know how everybody else feels, but like, to me, that's a life of misery.
Yeah.
Just living day to day with a whole bunch of unsettled stuff. No matter if you have little happy days here and there, but that high that you may get from whatever may be going on, when that high goes down, you're still going to be sitting thinking about a whole bunch of things that's inside of yourself that's unsettling, and you're not okay, right? We have to get to a place where we're okay. And the thing with the grudges, I'm gonna say this without giving names, but I have two family members that that wasn't talking to each other for years. For years. I didn't even know if I would ever witness a reconciliation. And I'm proud to say today that I recently saw it in my eyes.
But that is good, yeah.
I seen the hug. I don't need to see the dialogue. I didn't need to hear the dialogue. But it felt good to see that. And it had me saying to myself, like, wait, like when did this happen? Like, what did I miss? And sometimes, even if you're angry, somebody eventually wakes up and calls the person or just reaches out and just fixes it. And the thing that blows my mind always is people who are angry at each other. You look at the length of time, like how long they're angry at each other. And to just know that maybe a phone call of like 5 to 10 minutes or maybe 15 could fix something that caused us to be divided, that caused us to be at war, that caused us to just be angry at each other for so long. A phone call was all it took.
But does that mean reconciliation, though?
Well, you are right.
Okay.
You are right.
We're just going to pray for the growth of that renewal of friendship or relationship or whatever it is, because we could get excited all we want.
But it's so beautiful.
But it is beautiful. Like I said, we have to continue to pray for growth and for maturity. And I know that God probably spoke to somebody's heart. Yeah. Because we know that He can move mountains, and He move and shift things around when we're least expecting it to happen. Yeah. And He probably spoke to somebody's heart there. Or He sent someone to talk to someone, one of those people, and their heart changed. Yeah. Right? And so we have to continue to pray, because it does not necessarily, we're glad with that. It's just a prime example of, of us talking about, you can be angry with someone for such a long time. When you reconcile, but does it mean reconciliation? Yeah. Does it mean the relationship goes back to where it was before?
Yeah. Or did we just break the ice?
Oh, we do. Yeah, right. We just break the ice, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah. Because, some people are like, and then, God, whatever. Yeah. People are just weird.
Yeah, I just want to get to a place where I can be around you again.
Yeah, right.
And
then, we have to pray for the trusting, because even though somebody said, they may just want to pry, but I don't know who you're talking about, so I don't want to say anything like crazy.
I don't mind with you.
They may just want to pry back in that person's life or just get close back to them. It depends on what that relationship even was before they had that disagreement. So there's a lot of things to think about, like right there. But we're happy that they have actually started to talk again, and they give each other's hug and stuff like that. And maybe sometimes people see that you're moving in the right direction and they want to come with you. Still have to be careful. That's what we talk about, forgiveness, and are we able to trust the people again that we bring back into our lives, or we just needed to fix that part where we forgive each other. And we move on into our separate lives. Because sometimes some people can't move forward until they step one step back. And then they can move ahead. So.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of interesting things, like just within the culture, right? I've seen two sides, right? I have seen excitement when commotion is going on for some reason, right? Like, I don't know, that just gets like people hype, like when they're seeing this one and that one going at it, right? But then at the same time, it's very interesting, right? At the same time, the same people that you may get excited and you see the two people going at it, the same person that gets excited also feels great when they see that it's fixed. And I feel like that always, like, I scratch my head to that. Like,
You actually believe that that's genuine, though?
No, that's exactly why I'm scratching my head, right? Because I'm like, wait, at one moment you was like, oh yeah, look at them, like, right over there, they like at it. And then I think it's the shock factor for some people when they see someone that was going at it now in a better place, right? Because they probably didn't see them ever being like in that place. So it's like, oh wow. Hopefully it inspires that person if they are someone that's just always like angry. And here's the thing, here's another thing about anger. Just because, you gotta know that this can either go two ways, right? Just because you may get to a place where you can go ahead and call someone and say, hey, you know what? I want to be the bigger person. I want to be the one to break the ice. I want to be the one to extend the olive branch, right? Because it's time to bring peace. Just because that's inside of your heart, it doesn't mean on the other side, that's where that person is. So you also have to prepare yourself for disappointment, that when you extend the olive branch, somebody may push it away and say no. But in some cases, there's some people who was waiting for the olive branch. Because when you have two people that won't budge, and then you have one that says, fine, I guess it has to be me. You know, some people could take it and some people can push it away. But you never know how it's going to go if somebody doesn't take that step.
Right. That's why when God comes in, yes, he's always in, you know, once you allow him to come in, and he says to you, sometimes you're like, you want to reconcile with someone, or you want to say, let me try to fix this, or try to mend what is broken.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'd be like, child, you forgive yourself, you're in a good place. Just leave that alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes he sees us getting hurt. He sees the same situation coming back wrong again and happening the same way.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always going to be the way I'm going to say it. Keep him close so he can direct. He can tell you, you know, go back there. And even if you try to go back there, and he showed me instances where I try to be like friends with people again. And he said, I'm going to show you why you don't need to be friends with them again.
Yeah, because
I want to show you why when that happened needs to stay just the way it is. You know, because it's not a thing. But it's not a discouragement to people. It's just that you have to be realistic.
Right.
You have to know that sometimes you, like you said, you want to extend the olive branch and you want to forgive and reconcile. And that person might say, yeah, man, sure, let's reconcile. You know, we're going to be, man, look, listen. You think I care about you anymore? You know, it's
some people are so past you.
Yes, they're like, all right, okay, good to, you know, we good, are we good? And they'll never talk to you again.
Never.
So we have to have God with us, so he can tell us when
times.
we're going in the wrong way and what we need to like leave alone. Moving on to how to manage anger. Anger, like all emotions, should be monitored with self-awareness. You know, we have to be aware of ourselves, who we are. Check within, you know that if we hear certain things that people are saying and they trigger us, we need to step back.
Right.
You know, don't ever let someone push you to that next level where you get angry that you don't control yourself. I blacked out. Why did you black out? I remember blacking out when I was full of alcohol. You know, when I wanted to fight and rip everything down. And alcohol took me there. So that, and I'm not about that life anymore and stuff like that. But it's good for you to self-reflect, analyze yourself, you know what you know that you can, as human beings, people are going to say all kinds of things. You have to know what you accept in your soul.
Yeah.
You have to know when to step back and say, you know what, I'm not going to let that consume me.
Right.
And I'm not going to let that make my day go crazy.
Right.
I'm just going to step back. This can prevent it from spiraling to hostile, like I just mentioned, aggressive or violent behavior towards others or oneself.
Mm-hmm.
Support groups for anger management can help people understand anger, identify its triggers. You have to identify, be able to identify what triggers you, what gets you there. Some people might keep saying the same thing over and over to you, like, oh my gosh, why does this person keep saying this thing? And they know I don't like it. That that's your trigger. That's one of your triggers. So once you're able to identify that, it's good. It's a good place to be. And then you develop your skills to manage those emotions. In group or individual settings, this where people can be coached.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, to reframe unhealthy and inflammatory thoughts. Outside of therapy, techniques from deep breathing.
Yeah, woosah.
And emotional labeling to adopting a problem-solving mindset can help people learn to navigate anger on their own.
Yeah.
Like just what I just shared with you.
Yeah.
Pause. Reassess
today. Yeah, like you see how you mentioned like the anger management like groups. What I feel is great for those groups that are formed is you get to sit around in a room in a circle around other people who are just like you, right? Because I think sometimes when you are a certain way or when you're angry, you may think that you're alone. You may think that it's just you.
Mm-hmm.
And now you may start to look at it differently when you're sitting around people who are just like you and you're hearing their story and you're seeing that they also are here for the same thing that you are. They're also here for help. And they're giving their examples on how they may have turned certain situations around. Because I think sometimes people find it hard to listen to other people who never walk their walk, right? Like, it's like, oh, you're telling me how to handle anger? Like,
yeah, I be angry. Shoot, I can tell you.
Right.
I blocked out once. Slapped somebody silly. Like, literally on the road. Like, it was crazy. But,
so were you hearing other people saying it?
I've had some anger issue. And I've even had somewhere where, one instances, so yes, I am experienced with that, kind of like getting angry with my children, getting angry with my daughter, and she kind of like laid it on me, like, let me tell you what you do and how you react to certain things. And I was grateful for that. Mm-hmm. And from that, I was able to assess myself because I'm growing all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm learning every day. And so this was years ago, though.
Yeah.
And then she said, let me show you, let me tell you what you do when I say this, how you react. And so I know I had that little angry streak. Somebody says something, but that's when I really didn't know who I was. I wasn't the place I am right now. So all that has changed, and that's part of growth. So you have to be able to recognize you when you look, is that really me? And don't be mad when people actually tell you what they see in you. Mm. That gets people angry too.
Yeah.
Like, what I see you doing, but you don't know it. It was like, what? No, I'm not like that. I'm telling you because as a friend or a spouse or whatever, I see that.
Right. And I like that. And we need people like that, respectfully, right? So we need people like that to, to tell us things, because when you deepen that zone, it's very clear that you're not seeing it. Right? So the fact that somebody's taking their time out to pull you over to the side, you gotta believe that it's coming from a place of love. Right. Because think about how many people just walk right past you and didn't say anything and it's like, whatever, I'll let you just walk in that path of destruction and just destroy yourself. I have my own life to worry about. I don't have no time to to pull you over and talk to you. Yeah, I see a lot of things that you're doing. But the fact that you can have people in your life that will actually say, give me a few minutes. Let me talk to you for a second. I've been noticing, little changes, in your behavior, and I'm concerned. That just that I'm concerned part might pause you, because maybe you ain't never had nobody tell you that they're concerned, right? And maybe that was something that you've been wanting for years. That maybe that might be something from your past, something traumatic, where you're like, oh man, all I wanted was somebody was to care.
Yeah.
Well, it may not happen in your younger years, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen in your older years. You can't count that out. You can't hit rewind, but let's try to be able to accept the things that you can have now.
Right. Yeah. That's great.
Thank you.
So how can we manage anger? If you're often carried away by anger, it can be helpful to understand the patterns, like I was just saying, that triggers you. It's possible to intervene at different points along the way to deal with anger effectively. Sleep. Because when you didn't get sleep, get angry and aggravated and miserable, and sleep deprivation makes it harder to control anger impulses. So regular, healthy sleep can prevent you from being provoked. Consider alternative interpretations and ask yourself what evidence you have to support your angry interpretation. Consider a different perspective. Take deep breaths. Take long, slow, deep breaths using the diaphragm rather than the chest. Avoid the catharsis myth, venting anger, acting with aggression, and viewing aggressive content does not tend to release anger effectively. Know that it's okay to get mad.
Yeah.
If you have been wrong, treated unfairly, or provoked, you should get angry, right? But express it assertively instead of aggressively.
Right. I agree.
And how can we manage anger that's warranted? In cases of warranted anger, such as a coworker who never contributes to collaborative projects, you may want to use a different set of anger management tips. In those situations, distance yourself from the angering situation. Like I said, like I mentioned earlier, I think I said something like that. Try to change the topic.
Right. Yeah.
Try to see if you can switch the topic. Like, are you getting angry about this? All right, maybe we'll move on to something else. Something like that. This will help you stop ruminating and develop a clear path forward. Dedicate time to thinking about how to solve the root problem so it doesn't occur again. And express your anger assertively with a solutions-oriented approach rather than aggressively. So, instead of barking back, you can say how you feel, but, approach it not with aggression. Like somebody's yelling and you're yelling back, and I'm angry and you're angry, and we're just going to be two angry people.
That's all.
That's all it's going to be. And how can we anger this? We're coming to the close of this one.
Yeah.
How can we handle angry people? Different expressions of anger will elicit different responses, but a few tips can help deal with angry people who are verbally aggressive, insulting, or even threatening. Ask yourself if the anger is justified. There may be something you can do to help solve the situation. You can stay calm, avoid yelling, swearing, or raising your voice, which may exacerbate the situation. Speak slowly and directly, and keep your voice calm and soft. Avoid assaulting other people's character. Okay? The middle of an angry exchange isn't the time to discuss larger problems. You don't mix everything to one and you do all that. Know when to disengage.
Right.
If the possibility of a positive resolution is unlikely, you may want to end the conversation or walk away.
Yeah.
Stay safe. An angry person, like a hungry person, is not necessarily a violent person. Still, if you feel that you're in danger exit the situation immediately. So those are what we, can say that we all should do when we get there and to that anger stage.
Right.
But it takes like trigger points to really get us to that anger stage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you get so angry? I just basically just said something. Like, it's simple. Like,
yeah. Some
like,
people are just very, very touchy.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like ready like to just snap
they
like
have a
off
lot of
everything.
issues going on.
Yeah.
Decided some other things that bother them, affecting them mentally,
yeah,
spiritually.
Yeah.
And so they that's the best way they know how to react.
Pray for them.
Yeah, that's all we can do. You just have to pray for each other because we all need each other.
Oh.
Some people we don't know, but we all do need people.
Yeah.
We need each other.
Definitely do.
Stuff like that. And this month is what we call Suicide Prevention Month.
Yeah, definitely is.
You want to share with us what you got there?
Yeah, I got this card right here, being that it's Suicide Prevention Month, and they're doing a walk in the boroughs, in the 5 boroughs. So, for Staten Island, the walk is going to be on Saturday, October 1st. For the Bronx, it's going to be Sunday, October 2nd. For Queens, it's going to be Saturday, October 15th. For Brooklyn, it's going to be Sunday, October 16th. And in Manhattan, it's going to be Sunday, October 23rd. And this walk is going to be at 199 Water Street in Manhattan. All right, and that's by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And, we wanted to highlight this for obvious reasons, being that, yes, it is Suicide Prevention Month. And this is a topic that's also very, very sensitive, but is something that we as people, as a community, must discuss because it's major. We can't act like this is something that's not going on, and we have to fix it amongst each other. And I feel like one of those ways that we tackle a topic like that is having dialogue amongst each other, checking on each other a little bit more, not assuming that this person and that person is okay, because you may see a picture from time to time and they're smiling. A lot of times certain things is put out there as just a deflection, but there's nothing better than picking up your phone itself and calling that person, hi, how are you doing? How's everything? Letting people know that you care. Sometimes people start fading away from other people because they're getting the feeling that other people out there do not care.
Mm-hmm. And don't let the pressures of the world get to you. I think especially for the social networks, for people, you're hearing a lot of these influencers, these young influencers who are taking their own lives. I want to tell you that when you feel overwhelmed with certain things, step back, take care of yourself, take care of your mind. It's more important. The world needs you. And so if you're not here, what are we going to do without you? Yeah. You're very, very important to us. And always remember that. No matter what you're going through, it's nothing compared to nothing compares to that, right?
Yeah, no.
Like, you'll be fine. You will get through it. God's got you, and for those of you who don't know him, let me introduce you to him. He's a wonderful creator. He created all of us and everything that we have around us. And so remember that focusing on him, everything falls in place, because he asks us, and he has shown me time and time again. So I can only continue to tell you how my life is a testimony of how great God is, and all the things, amazing things that he's been doing in my life and stuff like that. So I can only share my experience with you, and to let you know that while I have never thought about taking my life, because I realize that I don't have that privilege of giving myself life and taking it away. So I know I was created for a reason. You are created for a reason.
Yeah.
And so we need to always remember that. You know, if you need to step back, step back. Sometimes we feel sad. Sometimes we feel lonely. Sometimes we feel like no one loves us. He loves us. And I think once you really know him, you will feel loved. And it doesn't matter who comes and who goes, what people say and what they don't say. You will have the peace that is beyond anything you've experienced in the world, in your lifetime, ever. No family member, no spouse, no child. That feeling of the love of God is pretty much carries you and carries you through every and anything. And situations may come in a way that we're not happy with, but that situation is lessons. It's preparing us for the next step. We may not always like it, and sometimes even, like I can say personally, even having something is getting sick, and then when I was supposed to be doing something huge, and God has said, I'm only here to remind you that I'm all you need. And you are nothing without me. And so with that, I leave that with you to ponder and think about that for a minute. Later on in some one of those episodes, I go into details about my experiences and all that stuff. But we do serve a great and extraordinary God and the giver of life.
Amen.
And we do not have his permission to end ours without his permission, right?
Yes.
He does not permit us to do that. And stay strong and keep holding on.
Yeah. Yeah, and know that you matter. Know that your life matters. You know, even if you was ever told anything by anybody, you know, sometimes we gotta really recognize that there's a lot of cruel people out here that would say things just to hurt you. And I think once you get to a place where you know that, where you are aware of that, you know, people are going to say hurtful things because they're not well within themselves. But never believe that there's no purpose for you. You were given life, and we were given life to live it abundantly. Right? So just always think before you get to a place like that, that if this topic crosses your mind, just think about you matter. Someone out there loves you. And when you understand that, you'll think about your actions. But most importantly, learn how to love yourself. Because I feel like when you love yourself and you appreciate your own life, you wouldn't harm yourself. You know? Get to that place.
Just find God. No,
No,
I'm serious about that.
It's true.
I'm serious about that. Because with finding God, you find that true love. And so once you encourage him into your life and he's a part of you, you love yourself. You will love yourself. So, and I know that a lot of people may have their different views on that, but sometimes people say they know God, but they don't love themselves. So how could you know God and you don't love you?
Right.
He created you.
Right.
So just wanted to say that, you know, and thank you for watching. But want to shout out, of course, if you haven't gotten our books as yet, mine is The Scars I Come With and The Child Within, and
mine's is Pages of Potency and Visual Revelations.
Yay, we got books and we got more books coming and a whole library and all that extra stuff. I also wanted to say thank you to the people who have supported my skincare line, Proof Skincare. I have been so happy that getting the orders. I'm getting a lot of orders from random strange people, and it's really blessed my heart that to see that. And also the reviews are coming in that the products that they're using are really helping the ones that are using it. I know that when I've decided to come out with this product line, I would say I hope it helps the people that it really needs to help. Yeah. It's not going to work for everybody else because everybody else, people have different skin types, or whatever works for you, work for you. But I do hope that regardless of what, just to make a note that 70% of the proceeds from the skincare line goes directly to the Proof Foundation, and the Proof Foundation is set up to help abused women and children, women with cancer, and pretty much I like to go under the big banner, anyone that needs help. We're always willing and able to, to do that. And now getting started, but the intention is to go throughout the world and help as much as people as we possibly can.
That's beautiful.
I will be putting up the link on the on the website and also on the Instagram where you can make a donation. It starts from, I believe, $10 or $5. I'm not too sure, but somewhere along there you can do a monthly donation to help others. Right? We all have to do our part into making sure that we can help people whenever we can.
That's a great cause.
Yeah, thank you. And also just want to do a shout out over here. If the camera can zoom into this beautiful watch I received from Lavari Timepieces. This is like my favorite thing, and
it's nice.
This is a young black entrepreneur. He's doing his thing, and it's also in the men's size, so maybe you should get one. And just to support. Really honored to be wearing this. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Yeah. I rock it, and I'm like, go support my friend, my brother over here at Lavari Timepieces. I will also do a tag when we post so that people can go check him out and do support, show some love.
Love to see people doing things.
Yeah, of course,
big
positive things.
Yeah, that's what we do. We support. We
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah,
we should. All right, so wait, who's chatting in the chairs? We are. Thank you so much for watching 2 Chairs 1 Chat. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram at 2 Chairs 1 Chat. On YouTube, you can subscribe and comment and share. Leave it, like we mentioned earlier, to let us know your feedback. We have topics that we have planned to discuss with you, but we also want to hear from you and what you would like to hear us talk about. You can find us. My personal handle is I am Derry Cox. Also have a poetry page at Derry's Poetry's Lounge, and also Proof Skincare, and also Mr. Rudy.
You can find me at Poetry is Visual. That's Poetry IZ Visual.
And you also have reels. Where's them? At IMBD thingy? Where is that on? Am I putting you on the spot? You gotta pull these things, right?
Right. Well, right now to view them, you can view them on my page. There's other stuff that I'm looking into, with that, and there's definitely will be more of those coming.
It better be. Take your time, but do what you need to do.
Yeah,
so thank you again. Of course, thank you again for watching us here on 2 Chairs 1 Chat. Until next time.